mystery interstellar object that was spotted by astronomers last week. It could be the oldest comet ever seen.
Elon Musk has just made a shocking revelation about Oumuamua, and it's not what you think. According to official reports, Oumuamua appeared once and then disappeared.
And in fact, it's not just rotating, it's tumbling. So it's not just it's going end over end, but twisting as it does so.
But Musk has a different story. He recently revealed that Oumuamua has returned, and this time it's not alone.
Now, this discovery was important for many reasons, but to me the most significant is for what Oumuamua can tell us about the past of our solar system.
This news has left everyone who believed Oumuamua's visit was over in total shock. But what does Oumuamua's return mean for our solar system and for planet Earth? And what other surprises might Oumuamua have brought with it? Join us as we uncover the mystery behind Oumuamua's sudden return and explore what it could mean for Earth. The real story behind Oumuamua. According to Elon Musk, Oumuamua has been sighted again after many years. Before now, it was reported that Oumuamua had already moved beyond Saturn's orbit, leaving the solar system at about 26 kilometers per second and drifting silently between the stars. Once more, scientists also said we would likely never see it again. However, this latest revelation by Elon Musk is making many people doubt what scientists had earlier told the world about Oumuamua. So where did Oumuamua appear from, and what really happened to it at the beginning? Stay stunned because we're about to reveal one of the scariest events to ever happen in space. Oumuamua is the first confirmed interstellar object ever observed passing through the solar system. Unlike asteroids and comets that formed alongside the Sun about 4.6 billion years ago, this object originated around a different star and spent an unknown amount of time traveling through interstellar space before briefly entering our neighborhood and then leaving again. Its importance is not about how big or bright it was, but because it showed for the first time that pieces of material formed around other stars can be thrown out into space, travel across the galaxy for a very long time, and sometimes pass through another solar system like ours. The object was discovered on October 19, 2017 by the Survey Telescope operated by Pan-STARRS at Haleakala Observatory. This facility continuously scans the sky to identify moving objects, mainly to detect near-Earth asteroids. Oumuamua did not stand out at first. It appeared as a faint point of light moving quickly against background stars. Within days, orbital calculations showed that its path was hyperbolic, meaning it was not gravitationally bound to the Sun. Every known asteroid or comet in the solar system follows an elliptical orbit. A hyperbolic path means the object did not belong to the solar system and was not going to stay. It came in from outside, passed the Sun once, and would continue moving into space forever. That single calculation immediately set Oumuamua apart from every other small object ever recorded. When astronomers traced its motion backward, they realized it had already made its closest pass to the Sun more than a month before anyone noticed it, on September 9, 2017. At that closest point, called perihelion, it came within about 37 million kilometers of the Sun, which is inside the orbit of Mercury, and it was moving at about 87 kilometers per second relative to the Sun. Because it was discovered late, scientists had very little time to observe it before it became too faint to study. This short observation period is one major reason why there are still disagreements about what it really was. Unlike comets that are tracked for years, Oumuamua was studied closely for only a few weeks. The name Oumuamua, chosen by the discovery team, comes from Hawaiian and roughly means a scout or messenger arriving first from far away. The name reflects the idea that this was the first known visitor of its kind, not just an unusual object, but the start of a new area of study. But that is not all. Further analysis of its orbit showed that it approached from the general direction of the constellation Lyra, but its speed and direction did not match any nearby star system. Over very long periods, hundreds of millions or even billions of years of close passes by stars would have changed its path many times. Because of this, scientists cannot trace it back to one exact place of origin. Its speed compared to nearby stars was normal for objects moving through the Milky Way, which supports the idea that it was thrown out of another planetary system during the chaotic early stage when planets were forming. Models of how solar systems form predict that large planets, especially gas giants, can fling huge numbers of smaller bodies into interstellar space. Oumuamua is believed to be one of those bodies that survived that violent process and wandered through space until it happened to cross our solar system. Because the object was so small and far away, No telescope could take a direct picture showing its shape. Instead, astronomers studied how its brightness changed over time. As it rotated, the amount of sunlight it reflected changed dramatically, becoming much brighter and then much dimmer in a repeating pattern. The brightness changed by about a factor of 10, which is far more than what is seen for most asteroids. That large variation suggests the object had a very stretched or flattened shape. Early explanations described it as cigar-shaped, perhaps around 200 meters long, but only 20 to 30 meters wide. Later studies showed that a flat, disc-like shape could also explain the same brightness pattern, depending on how it was oriented in space. Even though scientists still debate the exact form, they agree that Oumuamua's shape was far more extreme than the typical objects found in our solar system. Its motion made things even more complicated. Instead of rotating smoothly like a spinning top, Oumuamua was tumbling. This kind of irregular motion usually happens when an object has been hit in a collision. In space, where there is almost no friction, that tumbling can continue for very long periods without slowing down. This suggests that long before it entered our solar system, Oumuamua likely experienced strong impacts in its original system, adding to the evidence that it had a violent past before being thrown out into interstellar space. Measurements of the light reflected from its surface showed that it was dark and slightly reddish, similar to objects found in the outer parts of our own solar system. That color is often linked to complex organic materials formed when radiation slowly alters ice and rock over millions of years. Constant exposure to cosmic rays in interstellar space can chemically change the surface, creating a tough outer layer. This detail became important when scientists tried to understand its strangest behavior. At first, Oumuamua was classified as an asteroid because no visible cloud of gas or dust was seen around it. Comets usually form bright comas and tails when heat from the sun causes ice to turn into gas. Oumuamua showed none of that. However, very careful tracking revealed that gravity alone could not explain its movement. As it moved away from the sun, it sped up slightly more than expected. This kind of extra push is normally seen in comets, where gas escaping from the surface acts like a small rocket engine. The problem was that no clear sign of this gas was detected. Observations using optical, infrared, and radio telescopes did not find dust or common comet gases like water vapor or carbon dioxide. This created a puzzle. Based on its motion, it behaved like a comet, but based on what telescopes saw, it looked inactive like an asteroid. Scientists proposed several natural explanations to solve this puzzle. One idea was that the object contained large amounts of hydrogen trapped inside ice. Hydrogen gas would escape without being easy to detect, giving the object a push without leaving the usual signs. Another idea suggested that Oumuamua was made mostly of nitrogen ice, similar to material found on Pluto. In that case, it might have been a fragment knocked off the surface of a distant planet during a collision and later shaped by erosion in space. Nitrogen turning into gas could create the measured acceleration without producing a visible tail. Regardless of the debate, the discovery of another interstellar object, Comet 2-Borisov, in 2019, confirmed that Oumuamua was not a one-time event. Borisov looked much more like a normal comet, with clear gas emissions and a visible tail. This showed that interstellar objects can look very different from one another, just like bodies formed in our own solar system. Together, these detections suggest that planetary systems across the galaxy produce many kinds of leftover material, each carrying clues about where it formed. But beyond these scientific explanations, Oumuamua has sparked countless mind-blowing myths. Let's take a closer look at the stories people have told about this mysterious visitor. What people think about Oumuamua. When Oumuamua was detected in 2017, it immediately drew attention because it came from outside the solar system. It appeared suddenly and passed quickly, leaving little time for observation. Many people filled the gaps in knowledge with their own ideas, and stories about its nature spread online, in books, and in interviews. The first and most popular myth claimed that Oumuamua was an alien spacecraft sent to observe Earth. Supporters of this idea pointed to three main things. First, it came from interstellar space, something no one had confirmed before. To them, first time ever seen sounded like not natural. It showed a small push away from the sun that people described as acceleration without engines. Third, telescopes did not show the bright gas tail that many expect from comets. These points were repeated again and again in documentaries, podcasts, and social media threads. The argument gained attention when Avi Loeb suggested that an artificial origin should at least be considered. Many readers misunderstood that suggestion as proof rather than speculation, and the idea of an alien probe spread far beyond academic discussion. From there, another myth developed that the object had changed direction intelligently, almost like it was steering itself. People shared graphics online claiming its path looked guided. Because its movement did not match what the public imagined an asteroid should do, they concluded that something must have been controlling it. Writers compared it to a spacecraft adjusting its course during a flyby. The comparison sounded convincing to non-specialists because it used familiar technology as an example. The idea that natural forces could create uneven motion was rarely mentioned in those discussions. Instead, the motion was described in human terms such as decision or navigation, which made the object seem intentional. The third myth said, Oumuamua sent signals toward Earth. This belief started simply because astronomers aimed radio telescopes at it to listen for possible transmissions. The Listening Project, Breakthrough Listen, already searches the sky for unusual radio emissions, but the act of checking was misunderstood by the public. Many people assume that scientists only listen when they expect to hear something. But it didn't end there. Another widespread belief accused governments of hiding the truth. According to this conspiracy theory, agencies already knew Oumuamua was artificial, but refused to admit it. The fact that the object had already passed its closest point to the sun before discovery made people think something had been missed on purpose. Because there was only a short time to observe it, some assumed that information must have been collected secretly. Institutions like NASA were accused online of controlling the narrative. In reality, public uncertainty was treated as evidence of secrecy. For conspiracy thinkers, not having all the answers meant someone must be hiding them. The fifth myth described Oumuamua as completely unique and impossible to explain. Commentators said it did not resemble any known asteroid or comet, and therefore must belong to an unknown category beyond scientific understanding. Its brightness changed in a way that suggested an unusual shape, and that unfamiliar geometry became part of the mystery story. Because it was the first detected interstellar visitor, people assumed it must also be the only one of its kind. The telescope system, Pan-STARRS, that discovered it, was often portrayed as having stumbled onto something accidental rather than carrying out a design survey of the sky. This led naturally to the sixth myth, that humanity would never see another object like it. Since Oumuamua appeared without warning and disappeared quickly,
astronomers were excited to discover the interstellar object last year. It was named Oumuamua.
Many described it as a once-in-history event. Earlier generations of telescopes were less sensitive, so people assumed such visitors were extremely rare, rather than simply hard to detect. After these early claims, the discussion shifted from technology and conspiracy to religion and symbolism. Some believers began calling Oumuamua a sign from God, meant to warn humanity or remind people of divine power. They argued that unusual celestial events have often been interpreted as messages throughout history. Its Hawaiian name, often translated as a messenger from afar arriving first, sounded meaningful to them. Passages from the Gospel of Luke that mention signs in the heavens were quoted as parallels. However, this interpretation does not stand as evidence. This interpretation comes entirely from individuals assigning meaning to the object. No religious authority, council, or official doctrine has recognized Oumuamua as a divine signal. It reflects personal belief, not confirmed teaching or evidence. A related claim suggested that the object itself was supernatural, an angelic presence or spiritual entity moving through space. Supporters said its lack of a visible tail and its odd shape showed that it was not ordinary matter. Some compared it to descriptions of heavenly beings in ancient writings, such as chariots of fire or moving stars. But this claim breaks down when examined carefully. A supernatural explanation cannot be tested, measured, or supported with observation. History shows that many events once described in mystical terms later received clear physical explanations once better knowledge became available. Calling something angelic does not explain it, it simply stops the investigation. Because there is no evidence pointing to a spiritual origin, the idea remains a belief rather than a reasoned conclusion. The ninth belief tried to connect Oumuamua to end-time prophecy. Certain groups argued that it fulfilled predictions about unusual signs before the end of the age. Its arrival from outside the solar system and its brief visit were framed as ominous. Some writers linked it to the phrase wandering stars found in prophetic language and treated that poetic phrase as a literal prediction. This interpretation fails for a simple reason. Prophetic texts use symbolic language common to their time. They were not written as astronomical forecasts. No mainstream theologians adopted the claim, and no structured teaching incorporated Oumuamua into prophecy. The argument depends entirely on reading modern meaning back into ancient metaphors, which is not a reliable method of interpretation. The final belief was less shocking, but still often misunderstood. Some religious thinkers used Oumuamua as an example of the vastness of creation, saying it showed that the universe is far larger than previously imagined. They refer to verses such as those in the book of Psalms that speak about the heavens declaring glory. Unlike earlier myths, this view did not claim the object was sent with a message or purpose. Instead, it treated the discovery as something that inspires awe. This idea does not conflict with science because it makes no factual claim about origin or design. It is philosophical reflection, not evidence of divine intervention. It says more about human emotion than about the object itself. Looking at these myths, a pattern is clear. Each idea shows what people already believed or feared. People who thought about aliens saw a spaceship. There is also the belief that Oumuamua could affect space exploration, especially regarding Musk's vision of humans living on the moon. But how likely is this? Let's find out. The real impact of Oumuamua on humanity's space dreams. Following reports that Elon Musk's SpaceX has spotted Oumuamua again, many people are wondering how this could affect Musk's big plans for space, including his recent promises that humans will one day live on the moon. It's natural to worry when an unknown object from space is mentioned. Oumuamua first appeared in 2017, moving fast through our solar system. Its long, thin shape and unusual path made it look very different from other asteroids or comets. People immediately asked if it could be dangerous for Earth or for Musk's spacecraft and moon missions. But the truth is that Oumuamua doesn't interfere with these plans because it is already gone and out of reach. Oumuamua passed through our solar system more than 6 years ago and is now moving back into interstellar space at incredible speed, about 87 kilometers per second relative to the Sun. To put that into perspective, the fastest human-made spacecraft, the Parker Solar Probe, reaches only a tiny fraction of that speed. Oumuamua will never come back, so there is no chance it could collide with Earth, the Moon, or Mars. Its trip through the solar system was brief, and by the time scientists noticed it, it had already passed its closest point to the Sun. That means there was never a chance for any spacecraft to reach it or be affected by it, even if SpaceX had wanted to. Even if Oumuamua were somewhere near a Moon or Mars mission, it would not be a real threat. The object is only a few hundred meters long. That sounds big, but in space terms, it is tiny. The Moon is over 3,400 kilometers wide, and Mars is about 6,800 kilometers across. Spacecraft travel through millions of kilometers of space, so hitting an object this small is extremely unlikely. And spacecraft like Starship have systems that allow them to avoid obstacles if needed. So Oumuamua is too small and too far away to affect any human missions. The real impact of Oumuamua is in science and inspiration, not danger. Its discovery showed scientists that objects from outside our solar system can pass through very quickly without warning. Scientists are now more alert to hyperbolic objects, ones that pass through our solar system at very high speeds from other star systems. Studying Oumuamua helps engineers design spacecraft more safely and plan for unexpected objects. Its unusual shape and motion also showed scientists that objects from other star systems might behave differently from what we expect. For SpaceX, this is useful knowledge, but it does not slow down Moon or Mars missions. It just encourages better preparation and curiosity about space. But this is not the only fear that people have. Some people also worried about what might happen if Oumuamua had hit Earth. To understand that, size, speed, and material all matter. Oumuamua is a few hundred meters long. That is much smaller than a city, but bigger than a football field. If an object of this size hit Earth, it could cause big local damage. Imagine a huge crater, destroyed buildings, and destruction in the area nearby. It could harm people and property, but it would not affect the whole planet. To create a global catastrophe, like changing the climate or causing mass extinction, an object would need to be several kilometers wide, like the one that killed the dinosaurs. Speed makes collisions more intense.
We don't see that in our solar system. None of the asteroids in our solar system look like that.
Oumuamua moves extremely fast, about 87 kilometers per second. A crash at that speed would release enormous energy in one spot, making the local impact very strong. Even if it hit an empty area, it could make a large crater and throw rocks into the air. But it is still too small to threaten humanity or stop human missions in space. This is why Oumuamua is fascinating, but not dangerous for Elon Musk's plans. Some have even wondered if Oumuamua could have economic value. Though this is only a theory. It might be made of rocks, metals, or ices containing water, carbon, or other elements. These are materials humans could mine, like some asteroids in our solar system. But Oumuamua is already leaving the solar system at 87 kilometers per second. Reaching it with any spacecraft we have now is impossible. Even our fastest probes, like New Horizons, would take thousands of years to catch up. So mining Oumuamua is pure science fiction for now. The most important value of Oumuamua is scientific. Its long, thin shape does not match any typical comet. Its path and small acceleration suggest that interstellar objects can move in unexpected ways. Studying it can teach us about how matter from other star systems travels and how planetary systems form. Its composition might have chemicals not found in our solar system, giving clues about other parts of the galaxy. This knowledge helps scientists plan better spacecraft, develop stronger instruments, and prepare for future space missions. For Musk and SpaceX, Oumuamua is more inspiring than threatening. It shows that space is full of surprises and that humans must explore carefully. Plans to live on the Moon or Mars are not stopped by interstellar objects. On the contrary, observing Oumuamua helps engineers and scientists prepare for unknown challenges. Each new discovery trains humanity to handle unexpected objects in space. Oumuamua becomes a lesson in curiosity, learning, and adaptation, rather than fear. But for now, the idea that it has been sighted again may simply be another myth or misunderstanding rather than a confirmed scientific event. One of the beliefs about Oumuamua, among others, is that it may be seen again. Do you also believe this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.